So far in the cycle section, we've learnt how to drill holes, we've learnt how to peck drill holes, and we've also learnt how to tap holes. Now we're going to have a look at boring holes. The G code we use for boring is G85. We can also use G86, which I'll cover near the end of this lesson. It's pretty much the same the way it works, so we'll just go over G85 for now, and I'll show you the differences later. The same as the other cycles we've discussed, the X and Y coordinates positions are totally optional. If our machine is already above the hole that we wish to bore, we don't need to add these lines. But if we have not used G00 to rapid to the position of the first hole, we can add our coordinates here and the machine will move ready to bore in position. A Z dimension controls how deep we wish our bore to go. This is the distance from the datum position to the bottom of the bore in Z. Same as the other cycles, R defines our retract position. This is the distance above the datum position that we wish to retract to after each hole we've bored. And F defines our feed rate, which is in millimeters per minute. I'm now going to go ahead and show you how this works inside a program. The G code G85 tells the machine that we're going to be using a boring cycle that feeds in and feeds out of the bore. Z minus 8 millimeters is our depth that we wish to bore to, while R 1.0 is 1 millimeter above the surface, it's our retract value. And finally, a feed rate of 30 millimeters per minute is defined. We are not restricted to bore to the same depth on each hole. We can change the depth we wish to bore by adding a Z value here. This works the same for all the other cycles as well, the drilling cycle, the peck cycle, and also the tapping cycle. Adding G98 and G99 also works during the boring cycles, so we can still jump over our clamp with a boring bar, in much the same way as we did with the drills in the drilling cycles that we used. Now, G85 is not the only boring cycle available to us. We also have G86. Now the only difference between the two cycles is using G86 stops the boring bar at the bottom of the bore and then rapids out, whereas G85 bores in and bores out. Sometimes we may not wish to bore out as it may affect the finish or dimensions. So having two different G codes gives us the option to stop the spindle at the bottom of the bore and rapid out. And that concludes our lesson on boring on a CNC milling machine.